You'd be a lot cooler.
We're live.
Okay,
We're live. Going live, 3, 2, 1. Watch what you say, you don't want the world to know. Absolutely.
okay, nothing for public hearing.
Jim's not in here yet, though.
Huh?
Jim's not in here. Jim Jenkins.
Tammy, did you send out
There he is.
the presentation
Oh, I
on
see.
marketing? Did we get it?
It's in your packet.
Dang.
It's in the link. You have to open the webpage to get it.
Yep.
When you're ready, there you go.
That's next year when we cut him out.
You ready, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Aaron?
Internet.
Okay, I'm gonna call the Loudon County Commission Workshop to order for November 20th, 2023. First up is Jim Jenkins.
This item is a resolution adopted by Loudon County Commission closing the end portion of Port Madison Drive located in the First Legislative District of Loudon County, Tennessee. There's a segment of undeveloped right-of-way. This lady owns lots on both sides of the right-of-way. Planning Commission made the recommendation except for if they're gonna close this, their concerns was to close it in landlocked properties. So their recommendation would be that this will be done, but she would combine the properties in one lot. Those properties could be sold off individually.
How many parcels are there total?
Then she has 5.
So she's gonna combine all 5 before that road can be closed.
They would recommend the closure, but that she should combine the properties that they wouldn't be sold off. I think if, in order, of course, for a surveyor to survey and combine anything, she would have to have this right of way taken out. It's a little bit of a,
Chicken egg thing.
yes, sir. I think the key is that permits are not issued to someone individually down the road if something come up of that nature.
Any further
That's
comments?
first district.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, neither. I have no issue with it.
Put it on December 4th commission meeting.
Please.
It'll be there.
You can go home now.
No, we
Thank
cannot.
you, Jim.
Whoa.
Huh.
In my district, there's the Grove at Cedar Hills, which is the back 9 of the old Cedar Hills Golf Course. On the south side of the 17th tee box, they have elevated a bunch of land, really steep slopes down into the neighboring property, have all the gutters growing to the neighbor's property, have cut little ditches between the houses going right to the neighbor's property. So they're diverting a ton of water onto this landowner who never had this issue before. So he's working with Mr. Cook, and we're gonna discuss it in December to see what resolution there is. If not, we'll do something. I don't know what, but we'll. Thank you.
Jim's gonna take care of that, no doubt in my mind.
We're working.
This guy has been a pestilence to the community ever since he landed up there, and I don't mean Jim.
I was wondering.
Or did he? That's it, Jim. I'm done. Thank you.
All right.
I'll wait till this other item's heard.
Jim, have a good evening.
He's not leaving.
Okay. Under public comments, we have 3 people who wish to address us tonight. Dr. Hahn, come on up to the podium and tell us what's on your mind.
Okay, good. Consider these topics, health and education. So Loudon County and the 8 counties that are contiguous with us are among the most rapidly growing counties in the state. I think we're 16th in the state. So when we crunch the numbers and we start looking at projections for health care workers, and I'm not talking about doctors, but I'm talking about nurses and all the ancillary professionals who support physicians, we're gonna have some very, very major shortfalls. And if you want to attract business, you have to have a healthcare system that can support them. So Rome State and the Tennessee College of Applied Technology have partnered to build a 130,000 square foot Knox Regional Healthcare Training Facility. To pull this off, it needed land and it needed money. Covenant gifted to these colleges 10 acres. You go to Park West Hospital, you turn down Sherrill Road, right across from the parking lot, it's 10 acres. And already you can see the pad in which this building is going to be erected. The state gave these colleges $67.5 million. That means $7.5 million is outstanding. Through the East Tennessee Foundation, we've gained another $1.5 million in actual money in the bank as well as IOUs. So we're almost there. So in these counties, about 9 counties surrounding Knox County, one person has been asked to be the chair, the point person for the capital campaign. And I was asked to do that task in Loudon County. So what we're doing in all of the counties is we're speaking to the political leaders, the educational leaders, the healthcare leaders, to inform them of what's coming down the pike. And actually, then it was probably best that I was pushed to this meeting, because in this meeting, I can ask you all for money.
Ask away.
I am asking away. However, I just wanted to let you know what's coming down the pike. This is going to have a transformative effect on the healthcare system around here, and an educational effect also, because so many of our students in high schools are hoping to enter the healthcare field in some manner. And now they will have a training facility that will be able to address their professional needs that's within driving distance. Last thing about this is, let me tell you a few of the professions that are going to be trained there. We're talking about nurses, all the way from CNAs to RNs, EMS, polysomnography, that's sleep studies, respiratory therapy, coding and medical informatics, cardiovascular technology, medical lab technology, sterile processing, ultrasonographers. So these are people who, without their presence, we as physicians cannot function and hospitals can't function. So that's all I want to say about that. And I have a summary sheet for each one of you. And if you wish more information, you can call me. That's the first thing. The second thing is, a couple months ago, Monty Fritz, the gentleman who represents House District 32, called me and asked me if I would co-chair with him a healthcare forum. And I said, sure, yeah, it'd be my pleasure to do so. So he and I have set up a public meeting on December 8th, which is a Friday, from 5 to 7 at the municipal building in Lenore City. It will be on television. The panel will have these individuals. I'll be primary care physician, Chris Pollock, vascular surgeon, Eric Geibig, who's the ER doctor at Loudon, but also the medical director of the Priority Ambulance Squad.
Yes.
Travis Estes will be there. Michael Shin, who runs Durable Medical Supply. We have a physical therapist, a chiropractor, a pharmacist, and a social worker. We also have Connie Martin, who's the CEO of our hospital. And finally, Monty had called, real quick, the state, and she's sending us Matt Yancey, who is the deputy director of the mental health services for the state. So it's a very diverse group of professionals who will be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of healthcare in East Tennessee. And then the latter half of the meeting will be open to the public for questions and answers.
December 8th?
December 8th. Van,
5/7 at Lenore City Hall.
that's correct. Van, would you put that on your website?
Sure, send me anything you got, I'll be glad to do it.
Yeah, and I'll give you the contact for Nicole.
Is it gonna be
That'll work.
at the
Is that-
venue or city
that-
No,
hall?
no, it's
No,
going to be
City Hall.
at the municipal building, because it can be.
City Hall.
televised. Correct,
Okay, City Hall,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
We were going to do it in Kingston, because more of the district is in Rome County than it is in Loudon, but it fell through, and so his administrative assistant, Nicole, asked Yvonne if we could get it done at the municipal building. They said fine. So if you could come, that'd be great.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Hahn.
so much for your time.
Blake Moore.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank the mayor and the commissioners for the opportunity to speak to you tonight. You have heard me speak many times about what I refer to as an information desert in this county and the plethora of self-appointed community advocates who feel they know best about how to disseminate information in our county. This is worrisome to me because in the absence of genuine information leadership, they'll listen to anyone who steps up to the microphone. The community wants information and they're so thirsty for it, they'll crawl through the desert towards a mirage, and when they discover there's no water, they'll drink the sand. This metaphorical expression is a guiding principle for me, as I believe there are a lot of people that will complain about an issue and say that if you give them the chance, they will make it all better. I have been told the concept of a new website has been a topic of discussion for many years. While that may be the case, we can all see that none of the people that promoted this at those times put in the work or had the experience to get this to the finish line. For more than 6 months, I've been honored to be part of a great team that spent countless hours reviewing over 15 proposals to replace our current website, which is not only built on a hard-coded, antiquated platform, no disrespect to the people that run it, but also lacks the information and the ease of use we all expect in 2023. The review team narrowed our choices down to 2 candidates, both of which provided value and have shown the ability to provide a reasonable solution. The candidate we chose with only 1 dissenting vote was the company that provided a much broader portfolio of similar client sites and has more staffing to support our current and future needs. It is also worth noting that the 2 companies had almost identical pricing over a 3-year period. We have serious problems to solve with our website, and we need proven professionals to solve them. I have heard several people state that we don't need a new website, or that we just need to use existing staff to populate the current website with information. The idea that we have staff with extra man hours laying around our government, well, let's just say that if that was the case, I'm sure their time would have been already allocated. I've spent the past 35 years building a resume that includes public relations, radio and television, marketing and sales on a global scale. Just as importantly, I want to use my experience, if we choose to go with a new website, to be a part of positive change, to help implement this new website and drive content creation on an ongoing basis, which is just as important as the site itself. I can assure you that no one will be more dedicated to bring my experience to desire to create a single source of truth in this county. Thank you for your time. And I've got 2 minutes left.
Efficient.
Good job. David Tony.
Good evening. Some of you I know and some of you have heard my story before. And I want to kind of go over that just a little bit, kind of touch on the high spots. In July of 1993, my dad was kidnapped and murdered and left tied to a tree for 33 days in Ashland, Kentucky. And his killer received 25 to life. And so when he had his parole hearing in 2020, we were able to secure what's called a serve-out. And because of the serve-out, it meant that he never, ever comes up for parole again. We were absolutely done with this guy, and we could move on with our lives. Well, in May of 2021, I get an email that states that the director of parole in Kentucky has written a directive that decided that what the promises they made to all the family members didn't matter anymore. They were going to give new parole hearings to people that were given a serve out on their first try. And during my attempt to stop this, I come in contact with a group called Marcy's Law. And Marcy's Law is part of the state constitution in Kentucky. And because of it being part of the state constitution, we're able to sue on violation of constitutional rights. And we won and they withdrew the directive. And at the time I got involved with Marcy's Law, here in Tennessee as well, it was defeated 5-4 in the subcommittee, in the House subcommittee. And whenever we started working with them here, they have since passed out of the full House with 0 no votes. And now it's gonna go to the Senate. Once it passes through the Senate, it's gonna go back through both chambers again, to be able to be put on the ballot for voter referendum. Some of the things that Marcy's Law will guarantee for crime victims and their families is the right to be treated with fairness, the right upon request and reasonable notice of all criminal proceedings and juvenile delinquency proceedings involving the accused, the right to be present in public criminal proceedings and at all juvenile delinquency proceedings involving the accused, the right upon request to be heard at any proceeding involving release, plea, sentencing, disposition, and parole, as well as any public proceeding when relevant, which the right of the victim is implicated, the right to be heard and informed of all parole procedures, to participate in the parole process, to provide information into the parole authority, to be considered for parole of the offender, and be notified upon request of the parole and other release of the offender. The right to be free from harassment, intimidation, and abuse throughout the criminal justice system, including reasonable protection as defined by the General Assembly from the accused or any person acting on behalf of the accused. The right upon request to reasonable notice of any release, transfer, or escape of the accused or convicted person. The right to fully timely restitution from the offender. The right to a speedy trial and disposition and a prompt and final conclusion of the case, the conviction or sentence. The right to be informed of the minimum sentence the offender will serve in custody and the scheduled release date. The right to have the safety of the victim and the victim's family and the general public considered before any parole or other post-judgment release is made. The right upon request to confer with the prosecutor and the right to be fully informed of all rights afforded to crime victims. And the reason I come up here to talk to y'all about this tonight is I would love to be able to get a letter. We've got information packets to give you more information on this if you would like to read. I can give it to you after the meeting. But we'd like to have the county commission write a letter of support that we can send to Senator Randy McNally. And that's why I come up tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I spoke with Mr. Tony some time ago, and he sent me a lot of information. I personally never heard of it. He wanted to know about this particular process to come to us, to ask us. And I said, I'll be honest with you, I believe county commission is more than supportive to send a letter of recommendation to McNally. If it's just in the sentence where it's at now, to send to say that we support this. If you read about it, and like I said, I had it on the website and had other links to it, it's a really good thing. Victims get lost an awful lot of times in any kind of whatever the crime is. So you get us whatever we can do, whatever will be work for you, and I'll be more than glad to help get it on the floor and get a vote on it if you want us to.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
December 4th, Commissioner Shaver.
We'll see if I get the stuff. We'll see what we get.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Bradshaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, item A is the county website. Actually, I think we've got all the committee members here. I'll let Matt come up and kind of give kind of tell most of what has went on the last little bit, but give Matt an opportunity to talk about the process and recommendation handed down from the committee.
Thank you, Mayor. The purchasing office completed an RFP for website design and development, and we had a committee of 5 people meet, and we went through our process. We have an evaluation form we fill out. Went through some evaluations where we saw the websites, or potential websites and everything like that. We came up with a vote, or came down to a vote, and 4-1, we selected SmartGain. And Mr. Fred Hess is here today to present what they can do for us and the cost of their design and development.
Do you have his name?
Fred Hess.
It'll be up here.
Yeah, should be.
How long ago was it, the last time you were here doing this for Loudon County, that you made a presentation?
It wasn't too long ago, I met with the committee, we gave a presentation to them, but we started this process with the mayor, before COVID,
Yes, pre-COVID.
yeah.
And for the record, I've not talked to anybody on the committee about it. This was 100% committee choice. Even though Fred was good here once with me.
Well, thank y'all for having us out here tonight, I appreciate it.
I can't see for Buddy's head. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got some sunglasses with this.
That's a brutal.
Mayor, do you wanna go through B and C while they're getting this hooked up?
Yeah, sounds good.
I love being efficient.
One thing we strive for
Yeah,
is efficiency.
B and C, I'll be pretty easy.
Yeah, they are listed as our 24, our commission meeting dates as well as our government holidays, unless y'all want to add another holiday in there.
I was thinking about maybe taking a couple out. I'll never do that again. I did it in 2003. I was a member of a body that did it, and I'm still paying for that to this day.
The one other thing on your list is those 3 committees you're supposed to be seeing if they're required or not.
Yeah, which one, the one is,
You told me 2 of them.
what was the third one?
2 of them you said they weren't. I don't remember now without our sheets in front of us. I hadn't thought about that. We'll know by December.
Just December 4th is good.
What's Alphawood up here, but it takes.
No, it'll never work.
So are you done minus 2A, 3A, Mayor?
Yeah, I put those on for December. Approve the meeting dates and the government holidays.
And Coach, what are you good at saying? What do you say?
Moving right along.
Moving right along.
Okay, let's keep going while they figure this out.
Chase is up next.
Yep.
Chase?
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner Jeans and I are wanting to donate $10,000 apiece to Loudon Alive. It is an organization here based in Loudon to bring events to Loudon. They had a very successful event for Halloween. They're going to be doing a lot more things to draw people into Loudon, get people here, spend money. So something that Commissioner Jeans and I want to get behind.
And how much total for you 2?
10 apiece.
20? I mean, is this a 501c3? or-
Yes.
Who is it?
Who is who?
Who is the
Loudon.
What used to be the LNPOA.
Yeah, it's a rebranding of the Loudon Merchants and Property Owners.
Okay.
Rebranding.
501c3?
Yes.
They used to hang people for rebranding.
Sure did.
Yeah, they're all new leadership in the organization. I think it's gonna be a success.
Who's the head of it?
It'll be on the budget for December.
I don't know.
Kathy Price.
Thank you, Chase.
You're welcome.
Parking will be high on the list.
Okay.
Gary, how you doing down there, Gary?
Moving right along.
I think they're doing
I'm not
Well, we're not
sure.
there yet, but Gary, let's keep going until they're ready. We're trying to
They're
get
ready
efficient.
yet? No? Gary, Commissioner Whitfield.
Gary's is a big deal. It's gonna take a minute.
That's fine, we got time.
Are you guys ready? Or
No,
no?
we're ready.
We will be here in just a sec.
If only we had IT
Tell me
here.
what you want to do.
Call IT man. Oh, wait a minute, everybody's here.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Thank you.
I want to talk a little bit about our drive-in theater. The city of Loudon is working on a noise ordinance. And Van and I were at their last meeting on some other things. And a big complaint that neither one of us even thought about was we had a resident come out and say, with those big speakers, that he can stand in his backyard with his daughter and he can hear all kinds of profane language, some things that I mean, I never even thought of that. So, Van looked up our old meetings and they talked about an app. And they talked about how it would be over our radios, in our vehicles, it wouldn't be on the loudspeakers. I guess I'm just asking for approval, that'll be in December, to send this to the EDA. The EDA is the managing agent of the theater, and just to bring that in front of the EDA, so the EDA may be able to go and address this issue and see how we can move forward to stop that. So I just don't think any of our residents ought to be listening to a bunch of foul language with their kids in their backyards over a movie theater that we have in the middle of town. So.
And even if it's not foul language, this guy doesn't live across the street.
No.
These people live way down the road, down Highway 72. They have to hear every movie they play all the
I live
time.
a mile from it probably as the crow flies, and I can hear it inside my house.
So when they came here to present, they said it'll be over car radio or
It's gonna be
Bluetooth.
car radio.
Car
not gonna
radio
be
or an app.
On the speaker.
They would have speakers for an emergency backup just in case they needed them because noise was a concern at the time. So the 9 of you that voted for this, I'm sure felt that they would actually use
What
it.
9 of us?
No. The 9 that voted for it felt they would use the app and the car radio broadcast.
Sure.
And I don't think anybody thought it was going to turn into what it's turned into. And as Chase said, it can be heard. The outdoor rodeos are really, really
Extremely loud.
But I don't know how you listen to the rodeo on an app, but I guess you could. That's a story of a different matter, isn't it, Chase?
Yeah.
Well, they now have
December
Muddy Creek
4th?
lights,
December
Christmas
4th.
lights are now down there, they're not Muddy Creek.
They're not at my place no more.
Okay, we'll put that on for December 4th.
Ho, ho, ho. And I really don't know if that needs to be in a form of a resolution to the EDA or.
I don't know if you need anything, because Jack's already told you what you gotta do. Cite them into court and get them convicted, and then they can do something about
But
it.
I'll also say, the city of Loudon is currently working on
Yes, they are.
a noise ordinance review. So maybe, something positive will come out.
I know there's some council persons that are not happy right now.
I think something from us to the EDA committee, not
Just
their,
ask
not
them
their employee, but to the
We
committee.
can't communicate with
We're
him.
not allowed to talk to him.
No, can't talk to him. He's special.
He's not allowed to talk to us either.
Right, just addressing our
Just
concerns.
to say we have received a lot of complaints and yeah.
Sir, you ready?
We're ready.
Go.
Again, thank you for having us out here tonight. My name is Fred Hess, I'm the president of Smarketing, and I'd like to tell you just a little bit about Smarketing itself. We spun the company up in 2015, and so in just about a month or so, we're gonna celebrate our 9th anniversary. We didn't start out being a digital marketing company originally, but due to the way basically the market was shifting, that's what we've become, about 90 to 95% digital marketing, which means we do a lot of websites, we do a lot of social media, we do a lot of search engine optimization for clients, we manage the websites, we host the websites, keep them secure, keep them safe, and all that. Specific projects that we've done, I can show you this, is the first website that we did that was a county government was Jefferson County. And met Mayor Potts and signed a contract, got working on it. We'll see if I can bring that up. May have to bounce out.
Took a long time to get there. I wouldn't go too far.
And And so, when we do county really any website that we do, but specifically, county websites, we're pretty much start from scratch. Their website was, very old. It was like a kind of a 1990s website that's kind of boxy. And so, we wrote every word that was on this website, with a user interface, in mind. What you got? Oh, it's not up. Oh, shoot. That's okay. It's kind of squeezed in there, but we wrote every word that's on this website with the user interface in mind. Also with search engine optimization, or SEO. We had 2 days of photography and drone work. We were all over that county, taking pictures, taking drone work. Again, that's a picture from the drone. We wanted to have video for this thing. We also met with every stakeholder, which meant every department head. It had at least 30 minutes with them, and that took over 2 days to do. We learned quite a bit on this website, which was great. And then how to deal with it and how to deal with everybody from election commission to county clerks, all that kind of stuff. We quite busy towards the end of the month with all our county governments, but that's the very first site that we did. How do I get back?
You go. You're good.
Huh?
You're good.
No, good. There we go. So this is the last county government website that we did. So that's Campbell County. E.L. Morton, Mayor E.L. Morton met with him. And again, same thing. We met with all the stakeholders. 2 days worth of photography and drone work up there. Wrote every word. Make sure it was optimized. Make sure that it had ADA compliance on it, which is very, very important. One thing that we learned with Mayor Fox was if we don't make even a website ADA compliant, they're going to lose the DOT money. So we have a company called Silk Tide that crawls the site for us periodically, and we make sure they're going to be at least level 2. Sorry. These things go well or they don't. And I won't go over that because I know we're kind of short on time, but the next one down on the list there is Visit Jefferson County, Tennessee, and that is tourism. So that was a little bit different website for us in that the goal there was to make sure and drive people into Jefferson County and put them in beds and hotels and chairs and restaurants. And then the next one is the Jefferson County Public Library System. And that was a little bit different for us in that with the library system, they have 4 libraries up in Jefferson County. And what we wanted to do was give them kind of what we call a mothership site, but we also wanted to give each of the libraries their own personality. And so what we did was we color coded. So you see right away, White Pine, Dandridge, Jefferson City, so on and so forth. So you go into individual sections, but they were color coded. Another one on the list is Jefferson City, Tennessee. We also did the town of White Pine. We also just recently did the Jefferson Alliance, which they want to model after the Roan Alliance down in Roan County. And so their website just went live as well. So we've got quite a bit of experience doing these type of governmental projects. We even have the county-owned nursing home. It's called Jefferson Park at Dandridge in White Pine. So the website will be on a WordPress platform. There's really good reasons for that. Number one, it's secure. It's easy to use. It can be built with stability, growth, and security. There's Fortune 500 companies that use the WordPress platform. So you can go all the way from small to very, very large websites. This is the, I know you can't see that, I'm sorry, I got bad eyesight as well, but that's mouse type. This is the process that we have. The first thing we want to do is a smarting analysis or a discovery session. And again, that will be meeting with all the stakeholders. We want to sit down and have at least 30 minutes with them. And again, we'll be up here as long as it takes. If it takes 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, doesn't matter. Because what we do is we take copious notes, and then we go back as a group, back to the smarting offices, and discuss it, say, okay, did you hear this, did you hear that? So this is a very, very important process, and it can be very time consuming. We will create a dev site for it, which means we're gonna be building the website brick by brick. Then we come with an initial homepage design, and that'll take about 2 to 3 weeks. And you'll see over on the right-hand side up here, the approval, it says yes. So we do most of the heavy lifting. The only thing we would need from whoever we're gonna have a point of contact with would be to say approval process and feedback. And so we show the initial homepage design, and we'll show it right on the dev site. And it'd be, they can like it, they can hate it, but especially if they hate it, just tell us why. We go back to the drawing board, we come back with something that you're gonna love. You go on down and you see subsequent pages and content development. That's where we would disappear for a pretty good while, because we're writing a lot of content. We have 3 content developers on staff, and we'll have the one lead on it, so she's always gonna be the last word in terms of internal workings with smarting. We'll then be writing every word. Once we're through with that, we'll come back to the person that says yay or nay, and if nothing, again, it's up or down. If it's down, tell us why, we make it happen. And then one of the last things we do before we take the website live is we'll fully optimize it from a technical standpoint, and that's meta tags and page descriptions and all that kind of stuff. And we'll also crawl the site for ADA compliance. And then the last thing you have to do is say, yeah, go ahead and take it live, and we take it live. Here's the deliverables, development costs and annual fees. So the website design and development, $18,000. And folks, this is turnkey. You don't have to do a thing, and there won't be another invoice that says, oh, we forgot this, we forgot this. This site will be done complete for that price. And it includes everything, up to 2 days of photography and drone work, training, analytics, content development, the whole, really, I can't stress enough, it's turnkey. After we take it live, we got a ongoing maintenance and keeping it up to date. So we'll put your site on our hosting space. Now, we don't have actually servers, it's cloud servers, but we'll put your site on its own server. What happens there is that's secure, and it ensures that the website's gonna be up, I'm gonna say 99%, but pretty much it's gonna be 100. If the website does happen to go down, my IT guy will know it first, I'll know it second, and you'll probably never know it, because we'll get it fixed. It also includes maintenance, and maintenance is changing the photos, updating the staff, documents like meeting minutes and agendas, that type of thing as you get towards the end of the month. All that, you send it to us, we put it up. Really, anything just short of a major overhaul, we'll do. So it doesn't matter, it's just we're gonna make it happen. We'll do software updates, we'll do county events, agendas, meetings, additional trainings to new employees and current employees, and again, ADA compliance and SEO updates. If you want to say, hey, we'd like to do like a multi-year contract with you, like 2 years, 3 years, the second year we're going to discount off of that and go down to $750 a month or $9,000. And again, it's the same thing. It's nuts. Anything just short of a major overhaul, you just send it to us and make it happen.
But it's up to our employees to send you all the information for updates, correct?
I'm sorry?
It's up to our employees to send you all the information for updates?
Yeah, what normally happens, like with Jeff County, they have a lady up there by the name of Leanne Sutton. And so she sits right outside the mayor's office, and so they funnel it into her, and they get it. Now, there's exceptions to that. I think the county clerk sends directly to us, and the election commissioner sends it directly to us. So you can have that back and forth independently in terms of department heads, but if you kind of get one funnel and kick it to us, it's pretty efficient that way.
So 18,000 first cost, 12,000 the second year, or the first year,
Well, 18,000 gets you your website complete,
okay, 18,000, then 12,000.
and that's your maintenance.
That's your first year maintenance.
First
year.
So we're at 30,000,
First year.
$1,000 a month.
Yeah.
So 12,000 on top of that, right?
And if you want to do a multi-year contract, go to 2 years or 3 years, the second, third, fourth, fifth year, whatever, would be $750 a month.
How much does it cost, like?
$9,000 plus 750. or-
No, it's not.
Okay, okay.
That's-
We can't
that's
see
your-
from here for the light on the
Can
screen.
you send us this
Yeah.
presentation?
I can.
That is should be in the packet, those 2 pages, right there.
I'd like to see the whole presentation,
Okay.
but, how much would it be to reskin in 5 years if we wanted to reskin it?
Well, if you stick with us 2 to 3 years, we're gonna automatically update your WordPress platform anyway. Free, no charge, because we value loyalty. And at that time, it would be worth reskinning it.
Right.
Again, just anything you wanna do, like you say, hey, can we change out a color, can we add a tab, can we do this? As long as it's not a major overhaul, we're probably just gonna do it. Because we can amortize those costs over time. Again, we value loyalty, so if you stick with us, we'll just say, you deserve something in return, other than all the work we're doing there.
Thank you. Matt, will you get us this presentation?
Yep.
Thank you.
I brought some with me printed out, just in case,
I think we got them.
yeah.
Oh, no, there's something different right there.
Well, this is,
It's
this
more
presentation.
detailed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
Fine job there, man.
Practice it.
I'm telling you what, we got us a procurement man that just won't quit, man. Heard it. Good. We'll see.
Any additional questions? Buddy?
If we move forward, what would be, just, I forgot to talk about this, from the time we start, sign the agreement to the website would be, what would be just a time frame?
Yeah, county, big county websites, they take time.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to tell you 3 months and work we're out and all that. There's so many people that we gotta get in touch with to get, says your content good. So I would say probably second quarter of next year. You know, and we can move faster if there's, feedback and approval on a timely basis. Sometimes that's just not possible, so it's up to you. I tell my folks, it's like, we can't be the reason why this is getting slowed down. You know, we gotta move.
So now, Tammy she gets her agenda ready. She sends it, how long would it be uploaded and available?
That day.
That day?
Yeah, I think county law is like 48 hours, something like that.
Yes.
We usually, well, the mayor would get his stuff in on time, she'd be able to get it.
Yeah, we got
You didn't
something
say that.
from
Never said
the city manager of Jefferson City today. He says, can you get this up? And it was up within the hour. Yeah. I mean, you give us 24 hours, but if I see it and I can get access, or one of my content ladies can get it and put it up, they'll just do it. Because we know there's that time aspect.
Anybody else? December 4th, or,
Please.
okay,
I still think there's a lot of questions to be asked.
Coming from
Yeah.
me and me alone, I would think it to do due diligence. I would request that the other company, that was one of the top, his and Quillen were the 2 that we liked. Like I said, he got 5 votes to 1, but I still think it would be worth the commission's time to listen to the other presentation. There's not that much difference in them, but I think it would be worthwhile to listen to the Quillen Enterprise give their presentation. Just, that's coming from me, just as the commission.
then that would go to the next workshop.
Yes.
Okay.
First of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe we don't have this on the December vote meeting.
No, I just took it off.
Okay.
Looking at ultimately January,
be January.
Well, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, well, bring it up. Adam wants to have a county airport.
Campbell County has an
Campbell
airport.
County has an airport,
We
so
need
now
to-
he
we need
wants
to
an
look at County
airport.
for an airport.
Is he on that committee?
Huh.
Are you on that committee?
He's the chairman.
Airport Authority, yeah, I mean.
He's the chairman of the Loudon County Airport Authority.
Can I apply for a TSA job there?
Absolutely.
Somebody to do ground control.
Volunteer,
Thomas,
I
can
will
you
take volunteers.
disconnect him?
Okay. All right. Next up, I've got to talk a little bit about an interlocal agreement for the Building Codes Administration enforcement. Bob Bowman wrote me a note and said, Jim Jenkins has been performing building inspections for Philadelphia and Greenback. The Department of Commerce and Insurance asked that the county confirm these arrangements in an interlocal agreement. He attached the drafts to it. He asked that I put them on a workshop. I did it for tonight. And they have to go before the commission on December 4th. Jim, do you have anything to add to it?
Nothing further, it's just part of the codes of office, state audits. For some reason this year when they audited us, they said, we need a copy of the interlocal agreement for the two cities. I'm not exactly sure where that agreement is or how that came about. The codes were adopted in '06, and that's when this started. So with this interlocal agreement, really, nothing's changing. We're still issuing permits in most cities, conducting building inspections in most cities, but the state will have this interlocal agreement.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Thank you all.
That'll be on December 4th is what I told Bob for a vote.
Thank you.
Henry,
Yeah.
Adam got his hand up.
Go ahead.
How do the cities compensate the county for that work?
We are compensated merely by the permit fees where we issue the permits. We collect those fees, and those fees come into the county, to the general fund.
And does that cover our costs for going into the cities and doing this work?
It just depends, probably in Philadelphia, there's very few permits issued in the city of Philadelphia. Greenback, a few more, mostly Morganton Landing, and a few sporadic structures. Ultimately, I would imagine it does cover the cost for the most part.
Okay.
Okay.
While we're on the topic though, tell me this, we're doing building inspection, issuing permits in Philadelphia,
Yes.
but the city of Loudon does zoning in Philadelphia.
We enforce their zoning ordinance, but they hear any causes for subdivisions or zoning appeals through Loudon City's Board of Zoning Appeals and Planning Commission.
Do you, Gary, or Jim, either one know why that is? Why would it be a split thing? Can we fix it?
We may be able to fix it. I asked, Damian, once before, and he was way before Mayor Crawford.
How many disputes they actually have, though? It had to be many.
Probably very, very, very few.
That is true.
Maybe y'all figure out why that is and fix it. And one entity ought to be doing it all. Seems to me like, I don't know why the county's doing part and the city's doing part. I don't say we should or shouldn't, just seems odd to have it split up that way.
Jim, have you reached out to the mayors of Philadelphia and the mayor of Greenback about the interlocal agreement?
I have. Both of them said that's fine, and both of their city councils have to review this and vote on it also.
Gotcha.
And if they elected not to, then obviously, then they would need to, obviously, let the state stating we no longer conduct those inspections, and they would be audited by the state at that point.
Perfect.
We've already got an interlocal with Philadelphia as far as complaints. We will go in and they do the enforcing, we'll just do the write-up.
We do the write-ups and a preliminary on that, and they do compensate us for that, for the complaint side, but if it isn't brought into compliance, then it's on them to follow through.
Anything else for Jim? Commissioner Shaver?
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'll do them quickly. I think everybody's aware of our situation in Hotchkiss Valley with 1,400 acres. That's now 400 acres. That's now a majority owned by 125 mostly folks from Hong Kong. It's raised a lot of concerns and a lot of questions in a lot of places. There are people at the highest levels of the state of Tennessee have been and continue to be looking at this. Mayor and I and Henry and others met with the
Attorney General.
Attorney General. He's looking into it. Our state representatives are all very alarmed and concerned, but thus far, nobody's done anything. I've already been asked the question a time or two, and I don't know the answer to it, but I will propose on December the 4th that we send a notice to the Loudon County Planning and Zoning that we will not be issuing any permits to any properties owned by or invested in non-U.S. citizens from countries hostile to the United States. Currently, that list would include, and this is from the State Department website, China, Russia, Iraq, North Korea, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Venezuela, Yemen, Syria, and Belarus.
Is that Iraq or Iran? Or Iran? Or Iraq? It says Iraq, but it's,
Well,
He
you see
ran,
what it
you
says.
ran.
That's
it
what it
says
says.
Iraq, but it should be Iran probably, but what do I know?
I'm just telling you what the list says. I didn't make up the list. Does this solve a problem? Is this gonna magically fix the 400 acres in Hotchkiss Valley?
Probably not.
Probably not. Could it be a matter disputed legally? Very likely it will, but at least we're saying to our citizens, we're doing something. We're the lowest people on the food chain, the county commission, county government. You got state, you got feds. Well, the feds are inviting them in, so don't expect no help there. The state of Tennessee's doing something, but I don't know when they'll ever get to. In the meantime, this is what I would propose and like to have that on the agenda for December 4th.
Okay. It's there.
That'd be a resolution.
If it needs to be, you want a resolution?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else on that one?
Nope.
On my B one is, Jim just keeps hanging around. I don't know why. The last thing we have left in all of our planning and zoning is called a cluster option. The minimum lot size you can get anywhere in Loudon County, no matter what you're doing, is a ½ acre,
Not true.
except for clusters. Clusters, you can have 15,000 square feet. Now, there's other things within a cluster that has to be considered. If you have to give up 20% of your property right off the bat, is that right, Jim? So if you've got 100 acres, you got to give up 20 acres for open space, and that allows for your infrastructure and stuff like that. Is that correct? So there is a tiny little trade-off, but it still is less than a ½ acre lots. I'm not looking for a vote in December, but I'm saying this one concerns me. First of the year, you chime in anytime. We need to address clusters.
With the zoning that's being worked on with East Tennessee Development District and the Planning Commission, there will be an R2. My thought process is for this more dense cluster would be shifted to R2. That's open for discussion when we get to that point in time.
And an R2 would have to be approved by this body. For instance, if on 321, Bill, just kind of the instance you had a parcel that was zone A1, somebody wanted they wanted to do a cluster option, they come to Jim and say, we want to do a cluster option, smaller lots, more open space. They would have to come before this body to have it rezoned to an R2. So it still leaves it here, and that also gives us that option for community input, which we found to be extremely important in our last lawsuit. So I guess we'll wait till they get their stuff back from the ETDDDD and see what they do with that. Is that what you want to do?
Yep.
All right, my last one, and probably the most controversial one, and I am not going to beat this to death. I am not going to get personal, pick names or anything, but I've had it up to my eyeballs with EDA. As you heard us joke earlier, we can't talk to the president. He can't talk to us. If we won't tell him anything, we have to tell the board. I mean,
We cannot talk to the executive director.
yeah, we can't talk to the executive director. I'm sorry, whatever it's called. It's just ongoing. We have an ongoing lawsuit in Lenore City because of the EDA. We're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in property taxes through pilots because of the EDA. We have a potential of another lawsuit here in Loudon because of the EDA. At one point in time, there was the 400 acres in Hotchkiss Valley that was being looked at as a potential annexation, being assisted by the EDA. I've had it. I'm done. I don't know anything else to do. Now they've turned the screws up a little tighter, and they just keep wanting to show us just how disrespectful they can be to us. And then in the meantime, I'll remind you, we're paying 70% of all the money going in there, $177,000 a year. And we get absolutely nothing from it, and we get hurt from it. On the 4th, I'm gonna ask it be on the agenda that I'm sure, Aaron, we've already paid second quarter, right? I'm sure we have, because it's paid in quarterly installments. That January 1, we don't send any more money to the EDA. We're on our 2-year notice. There's nothing in our local agreement that says we have to pay them after we give them the 2-year notice. That's splitting hairs, but they all like to split hairs. And I would even remind those that would be involved in that, the Lenore City attorney has told us multiple times, why these interlocal agreements not worth the paper they're written on. So that's an interlocal agreement. We can take his advice on that one. It'll be on the agenda. You all vote for it however you want to. I'm not asking anybody to or not. I'm gonna send a message.
What's the ramification with state grants?
I'm glad you asked that, because I wanted to say that. There is, on the interlocal agreement, the only penalty toward us is that if we ever pull out, we don't pay, we lose any assets. In the public chapter 1101, the EDA's only remedy, if we pull out and don't pay our money, the EDA's only remedy is that our members can't vote, basically. The big shoe is, in 1101, it says that you must apply, you must prove to the state of Tennessee, if you apply for any state grants, you must certify that you have a joint economic community development agency. Flatly what it says. Now, in previous meetings, not with Aaron, but with Tracy, the question was asked, how many times have you ever had to certify that you have a joint EDA? And she said, never. I don't know if Aaron can answer that question.
None that I know of.
Okay, so you have to certify that you have a joint economic development agency. If you do not, then it says Public Chapter 1101 says you have to do it for all state grants. There are 2 Attorney General opinions, one from 2017 and the one that we, Loudon County, got in 2020. The Attorney General says if you do not pay your part, you will lose all state grants. That's what it says. I'm not sugarcoating it all. Bob Bowman says what that means is all 3 entities will lose all their state grants, because if we're out, there is no joint economic community development. That was Bob's statement. I have no idea. I don't know what of it's right. But until the day comes that somebody presses the envelope, we're never going to know. We're going to have this thing hanging over our heads forever. And next year they may come in and want $500,000. And under the interlocal agreement, under 1101, we have to pay. No matter what they ask for, we have to pay it. It's insane. So that's, to answer your question, Chase, a short version.
So, I mean, if we pulled out, the EDA would dissolve because it has to be an interlocal agreement.
I don't know what the EDA will do. I have no idea. I truly do not. I would assume they've got.
I don't see how the 2 cities wouldn't lose their state grants as well.
They do. According to Bob Bowman, they do. But that's Bob's opinion. We also have the Attorney General opinion. Do I think the state of Tennessee is going to take all of our money away from Loudon County because we're not paying this organization? I do not. But till we ever try it, we're never going to know. If they come along and say, okay, y'all are going to get cut off by $1 million, $500,000, $10 million, whatever it is, then we'll have to come back and fund them. We'll have to seek other actions. But until the time comes, I don't know how else we find it. We're just sitting there with a stick over our head right now. So, I mean.
Well, it's kind of like the resolution for countries that are not our enemies of the United States. I mean, you don't ever know until you do something. I think the worst they could do is notify us and say you can't do that. You got to restore it. I mean, but like I said, until you do something,
you don't know.
You don't know.
So if all that goes away, are you gonna come up with some kind of EDA board for the county? I mean, where does that leave us? I mean, if we do away with that, what attracts businesses to Loudon County, and who's in charge of all of that? Do we come up with our own EDA?
That's potential.
But are you still able to get the grants because it's not a
If your
joint
state
effort?
grants are gone, can you
Well,
reestablish that with a new EDA?
The question of the grants is that's the big question. What will the state do? Will the state say, you're out of money, we're cutting you off $1 million? We'll have to back up and punt. Certainly we will. If we find out there's an alternative to this, that we can form our own, I believe maybe Bob's mentioned something to that effect, then that would be a possibility too, with a different structure than what we have now.
Well, shouldn't we have some kind of plan before we just cut it all off?
You're not gonna have a plan till you know what the outcome is. If they come back and say, oh yeah, you gotta do it, you're gonna lose all your money, we have to fund them.
Yeah,
And then we'll
we can't make our plan until we know.
Till we know what the thing is. Look here, I'm not gonna lobby. You all have seen this. I've been looking at it for 20 years. This was the same for me when Pat Phillips was here, no different than it is when Jack Qualls is here. This is an organization that's outlived its usefulness. We have high-paid mayors and city managers all over this county. If they had an office with a secretary and a telephone and a website, you're gonna get just as much out of it as you can. Right now, this organization is working against Loudon County just as hard as it can. From the top, from the position of chairman right on down to the pilots.
Well, the county pays the lion's share and should have the same vote and voice
I agree.
and influence, but we're not. You know, I mean, it's just, you know, when we can't, the director, EDA director won't speak to us unless we, I mean, well, anyhow.
I know. I'm not gonna turn it personal. I had the same opinion 20 years ago as I have now. It's just gotten to an almost absurd level at this point.
December 4th?
Yes, sir, please, thank you.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, that's gonna be all that I have on the agenda tonight.
You promise?
Now, I haven't had nothing on in a long time.
Aaron?
Since
You're
last
up.
month.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Budget Committee has recommended $10,000 for a cart system for General Sessions Court. This is something that's legally required for the hearing impaired. The Budget Committee recommended to approve and accept a voting machine grant. The total of the grant is $82,425. The Budget Committee recommended approval and acceptance of a FEMA grant for the Highway Department, which is a reimbursement type of a grant with an estimated amount of $125,000 with local matching funds at 12.5%. The Budget Committee also recommended $100,000 to come from ARPA funds to help supplement some of the cost of a vac truck for the Highway Department. The total cost of the truck is $278,000, which Mr. Pickle said he would fund with his own money. There was also a recommendation from the Budget Committee to negotiate a deal of buying a building for a Lenore City location for the Loudon County Clerk. There was a recommendation from the Budget Committee for a one-time pay adjustment to full-time and regular part-time employees, $500 to full-time and $250 to regular part-time.
Excluding elected officials.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And the election commission itself. There was a recommendation from the Budget Committee to disperse the salary supplement to eligible law enforcement officers, which is an in-service supplement, and it's $800 per officer. It's a total of $38,400. We do receive this reimbursement back. It's just usually at the end of the year. There was a recommendation from the Budget Committee to rescind resolutions from District 1A and 1B for $20,000 each for the ARPA funds that were set aside for repair of the erosion at the senior center, and the recommendation for $25,000 each from District 5A and 5B.
Gosh, I didn't like the way she looked that way. Did you see that? Did you see that?
What?
Looked up there and kind of
Sorry.
frowned at us.
Sorry.
It's all right.
There was also a recommendation from the Budget Committee to approve ARPA. Now you've got me flustered.
He does
ARPA funding of $10,000 each from District 1A and 1B for Loudon Alive.
Is it getting hotter?
Yes. Sorry. Next is the budget amendments that the budget committee recommended. And they recommended all of these budget amendments. Now, there's a bunch of them, so I'm sorry, so it'll take me a few minutes.
Or they can read it on their apps or their iPads if they want to.
All in your packets.
Okay.
And there was
they'll-
no huge stuff.
They'll be included in the packets
most of
that
it
Ms.
was just
Walker will
adjustments
receive
that I
for the next
Yep.
meeting. There's amendments in 101, 115, county general fund is 101, 115 is public libraries. There will be for Fund 116, which is convenience center because of the pay adjustments. Fund 119, which is Center 75. Fund 127, which is ARPA. Fund 131, which is the highway department. Fund 141 is general purpose school. Fund 142 is school federal projects. Fund 143 is central cafeteria. Fund 171 is general capital projects. And Fund 177 is school capital projects. Those will all have budget amendments that will be included in the packets. The capital projects committee also came, and the budget committee recommends these particular projects from capital projects. $18,600 for an EMA drone, $15,657 for IT network switches at the county office building. There was a stipulation to that. I'll let them share that.
Had to be switched by.
Thomas heard it.
End of January.
By January 31st.
Yeah.
There was a recommendation for $35,000 for an Explorer, from the highway department. That was a trade-in vehicle to come to the county office building, essentially.
And we're surplusing the current,
How'd that vote go in the budget committee, by the way?
well, you just ask the chairwoman, she's down there.
In the budget.
Chairman on the budget committee?
Oh, budget committee, sorry, I thought you
It
meant.
passed.
Okay.
Do you remember what the vote was?
I think you voted yes.
I was just hunting Ford one. But I can switch mine real easy.
No, you can't.
I
That
can't.
meeting is already adjourned.
But we gotta vote next month too, right?
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anything further for the workshop?
Mr. Chairman, I think for those that weren't in there, and it would have just been the budget committee, I just want to elaborate a little bit on what she held in the front end, the track system. And why it's so expensive to operate government. And cart system. So in the court, we have a civil matter, this is not somebody arrested, this is a civil matter. We have an individual who can't hear well, doesn't do sign language and stuff like that. So whenever he has to come in for his civil matters, which is multiple times, we have to hire a company that comes down and sets up a audio system that then does it like closed caption, put up a screen up so that he can read it. And so thus far this year, they've already spent $3-something thousand, and several more of these events are gonna happen. So we set aside $10,000, is that what it was? To cover the cost to hire this company to come in to set up this apparatus so that he can read what's being said in the courtroom. That's what government has to do.
But that's an ADA mandate.
It's an ADA issue, absolutely. But we can't get it out of the ADA department, no, heaven forbid.
There is not an ADA department, right?
Gary Whitfield and the mayor, Morgan Olson was one of our pilot recipients in 2015. They were under certain stipulations with clawbacks built into it. If they didn't meet certain requirements of their employment, which it's my understanding they never did, that by 2020 they had to have X number of people, and by this, blah, blah, blah. It's all trash anyhow. But our members of the EDA need to claw back some of this money from Morgan Olson, because December 22nd, 2 days before Christmas, they're gonna lay off better than half their force.
Better do it quick.
Why?
It might not be an EDA.
Good thought. Well, they still own the responsibility of this. But anyhow, please follow up on that and find out. The copy of the resolution lays out in detail what the clawback measures are, and that should be explored. If we're gonna put them in there, they ought to be enforced. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else?
I was gonna tell you all the next LC EDA meeting,
28.
Special call.
Tuesday, 28th.
Special call for what?
I don't know if it's a special call.
They don't give them agendas. Well, they just meet 4 times a year, and you've already had your before, even though Buddy doesn't show up, it doesn't matter, I guess, I can't help that.
If it's out of my kid, I'm gonna take care of my kid. sure
I
can.
told Buddy if he doesn't go, he can certainly designate someone in his place by interlocal agreement, and I would sure volunteer to be that designee.
I'd go watch that one.
You see that big mushroom cloud come up over the.
You know where they meet at, most time?
Uh-uh.
The Palace up at LCUB.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At the venue?
I digs, no, LCUB's
Next
big,
door.
big thing,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Well, if you need a ride, I'll drive you.
okay. Are we done?
Anything else?
Are we done?
I'll consider it adjourned.
7:10.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
You too, everybody have a good Thanksgiving, lots of turkey, enjoy the family. Don't understand.